Hey guys, so I did The War That Saved My Life. It is by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. There's no illustrator because it's a chapter book. The publisher was Dial Books for Young Readers. Copyright was 2015. Um, I looked on there and it said it was a fiction book, but to me, it could be like based on a true story. I could see it be based on a true story, but for now it's a fiction book. There are 316 pages on it. I did this for grade levels of third grade to sixth grade. And basically what it's about is there's this girl and her brother. Her name's Ada. She's the main character. She has a club foot, and both her and her brother are in an abusive relationship with her mother. And the setting is London during World War II. And so at this time in the book, London is being bombed by Germany, and London, the whole country, decides to move all the kids away from there so they have a future. But Ada's mom doesn't want Ada to move because Ada's mom is embarrassed of Ada because of her disability, and so Ada finds out about that, and she sneaks away with her brother and escapes to a house outside of town. And so when they get out of town, they meet up with this woman named Susan, and she doesn't like them at first, but grows to like them as she spends time with them and as they learn new things with her. And so Ada's mom comes back and takes them away because Ada's mom doesn't want to pay for them to stay there anymore. And when she takes them back, Ada goes back into her apartment, her little room that she's been locked up in, and Susan finds out about this. And so Susan comes to find her and, spends time looking and seeing where she actually lives. And then Ada gets out of there, escapes, and runs away. Finds Susan. Ada gets her brother. Susan takes them both back to her house to find it destroyed. And the book ends kind of weirdly to me, but basically what happens is Ada just looks at Susan and says, we're even now. And to me that was just a thing like saying Susan saved Ada's life, and then Ada saved Susan's life. I would definitely recommend this book to children. To me, it brings history to life. It kind of tells the story of a little bit about the war and what kind of people were experiencing during that time. It helps them, bring into a real factor of, what happens outside of like the military stories. It brings a kind of personal story to it. It could bring up the idea of how actually bad life was, not on the front lines, but in the city life when they were being bombed. And the activity that I'd have them do, if it was like an older type of group, I would probably have them go home and see, what kind of stories they might have, if they have any personal relations that have been in the war, have experienced the war, something like that. Or if it was a younger group, I would probably have them write down, what could bring them joy in life, and what, how they could see hope and get out of bad situations if they were in one.